So I saw this absolutely ridiculous article from the Times, and the headline reads, Azov Battalion drops neo-Nazi symbol exploited by Russian propagandists. Whoa. Okay, hold up a second here. So, what do you mean exploited by Russian propagandists? I think the issue here is that they were wearing a Nazi or neo-Nazi symbol. Maybe that's the larger issue here. You know, like the problem is that it was exploited by Russian propagandists. Like, not that it's true. So anyway, let me break this down. For those of you who don't know, the Azov Battalion is a battalion in Ukraine that is incorporated into the Ukrainian National Guard, and it is a neo-Nazi battalion. There's just no getting around that. They are a group that believe in white supremacy, in Nazism, and you know, when some people wouldn't even say neo-Nazi, they would simply say Nazi because they're sort of a continuation of, Stepan Bandera, right? But who again, participated, or I should say, helped to lead the Holocaust in Ukraine, killing Jews, Poles. And so there's sort of a continuation of that, right, in many ways. And I want to show you how ridiculous they are, how the media in the West are trying so hard to whitewash these Nazis, literal Nazis. Because this is the state of affairs, right? Like the West are arming white supremacist Nazis in Ukraine, and then trying to tell you that, oh, these are people that are, Russia is calling them Nazis. That's it's Russian propaganda, really. I've seen this playbook before. I'm Syrian, and I saw what they did in Syria. The Western media, they tried to claim that Al Qaeda and people affiliated with Al Qaeda were not Al Qaeda. That they were moderate rebels, right? Like, they're not extremists, they're moderate rebels. And that was, of course, a complete lie. And so I'm just laughing so hard at what this article is doing here. You know why? Because here, just first for context, this is the Azov symbol, okay? So you see here on the left, this is the emblem of the Azov Battalion. And you actually have two Nazi symbols here. You have the sun wheel in the back, right? Also known as the black sun. In German, sun wheel is Sonnenrad and schwarze Sonne is black sun. And then on top of that, in the forefront, you have the wolf's hook, or in German, it's Wolfsangel. Okay, and so basically, what they're saying happened here is they removed this wolf's hook and replaced it with this. Okay, so they say the Azov Battalion has removed a neo-Nazi symbol from its insignia that has helped perpetuate Russian propaganda about Ukraine being in the grip of far-right nationalism. At the unveiling of a new Special Forces unit in Kharkiv, patches handed to soldiers did not feature the Wolfsangel, a medieval German symbol that was adopted by the Nazis and which has been used by the battalion since 2014. Instead, they featured a golden trident, the Ukrainian national symbol worn by other regiments. So this is the golden trident. So let me show you something, because they said that this was an unveiling of a new Special Forces unit, right? So there was a whole ceremony where they unveiled this new unit. I got the pictures from it because they posted them on Telegram, okay? You are not going to believe this. You cannot make this up, man. So here's the ceremony, okay? Of this, where they're creating this new Special Forces unit. And hold on, let me see if I can zoom in there. Okay. You see there are multiple pictures there. Let's take a look at these pictures, because I saw some interesting symbols there, didn't I? Okay. What's that over there? Oh, look, it's the Nazi symbol that you said they just removed. Turns out one of the guys is still wearing it at the ceremony. Man, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. And then look at this picture. What is that back there in the on his shoulder, on his arm? What is that? Oh, you got to be kidding me. Please don't tell me that's what I think it is. Please don't tell me that's what I think it is. That guy's not wearing a Totenkopf, is he? A death's head? Because that looks eerily similar. I'm sorry, that looks eerily similar. So, they're basically saying like, oh, look, these Nazis have removed the Nazi symbol from their official insignia. And then at the unveiling of the ceremony, they're still wearing the same fucking symbol and other Nazi symbols. Wow. I mean, this is just amazing, right? This is amazing. This is like when they said Ukraine cannot have Nazis because the president is Jewish, right? Which makes total sense, right? If you have a Jewish president, that means there are no Nazis in the country. And then the day that everybody's celebrating the defeat of Nazism in Europe, so it's called Victory Europe Day, 8th of May. On VE Day, Zelensky, the Ukrainian president who's Jewish, his official Telegram and official Instagram post this. They post a collage of different people in the Ukrainian armed forces, and the main photograph is a guy wearing an SS death's head on his chest, right there. Right there. You see that in the middle? This is Zelensky's official telegram, and the guy has an SS death's head right there on his chest, just like you see here. And they deleted it, right? So Zelensky's social media team, after about half an hour, they realized what they had done, and then they went in and edited out the photo from Telegram, but I have the official link that was forwarded, the official post, rather. So I know it's true. And his Instagram also. So do you see this is so ironic? Like every time they try to force you to believe that there are no Nazis in Ukraine, they just keep posting photos of Ukrainian armed forces wearing Nazi symbols. Wow. Well done. Just you're very, very smart. I feel like at this point, if you're trying so hard to show that there are no neo-Nazi insignia or there's no Nazi symbolism, and then images keep getting posted with Nazi insignia, you probably have a bunch of Nazis. You have a Nazi issue, right? You have a Nazi issue. And this guy over here, he's wearing the wolf's hook. So at the same ceremony, right? You see the picture that was used by the Times article? It's from the same ceremony. It's right there. There it is. This is the same picture that was used for the Times article. It's the exact same one. They took it from here, right? Very interesting. Very interesting that they didn't show you the guy wearing the wolf's hook right there. Huh? How convenient that they didn't show you that. Or this guy who looks like he has a SS death set on his arm. How convenient. Is that also Russian propaganda? Please, you guys tell me. I'm showing you photos from the ceremony. Is this Russian propaganda? They posted this themselves. I'm not an idiot. I know what those symbols mean. Look, man, when you think about the SS in World War II, the Nazi Schutzstaffel, the SS, after the lightning bolts that are in their logo, the first, or shall I say, the second SS symbol that comes to mind is the death's head. Okay, right here, the Totenkopf. That's probably the most prominent SS insignia after the lightning bolts. Okay, and again, who used this? This was used by the 3rd SS Panzer Division Totenkopf. Okay, and of course, they were guilty of not just war crimes, but crimes against humanity, the Holocaust. They even they committed massacres against British troops, right? So in Dunkirk, when the British were trying to flee from France, this is in the beginning of World War II, they lined up about 90 British troops and massacred them. So, they committed genocide, they've killed Jews, British troops, you name it, right? They're a part of the SS. And then, of course, when we talk about the wolf's hook or Wolfsangel, that's also used by other Nazi battalions. And so I'm just struggling to understand what's going on here. I'm really struggling to understand. They're trying so hard to convince us that something is not happening, and we keep seeing images popping up. Here's the wolf's hook, right? So the Wolfsangel, which was used by the 2nd SS Panzer Division, das Reich. Okay, so what they did, the 2nd SS Panzer Division, who are wearing the same Nazi symbol that you see on this guy's chest over here. That's the exact same symbol. There's no question about it. So do you know what they did? They committed the massacre, for example, in France, Oradour. So this is very, very famous. When I grew up in school, we had to learn the poem about Oradour. Oradour n'a plus de femme, Oradour n'a plus un homme, and so on, right? There's a very famous massacre of civilians in a French town called Oradour, and it was perpetuated by that second SS Panzer Division. So, they just casually put these fucking Nazi symbols on their arms and their chests, and they proudly wear them, and they expect us to rally behind this. I'm sorry, I'm not supporting Nazis. No, this is not happening. I'm not going to let you bullshit me into supporting Nazis or people who wear Nazi symbols. This is not happening, right? It's not happening. This is insulting. It's insulting. I don't care who they're fighting, right? I don't care if they're fighting the devil. I'm not supporting this, which, I mean, it's just a figure of speech, right? I don't care how much they want to vilify the Russians. I'm not supporting people who wear Nazi insignia or who have battalions that wear Nazi insignia. This is ridiculous. This is obscene. And I find it shocking that they've got British people, like Americans, Canadians, people who have family whose grandparents fought in World War II, like mine, to support this. And then they try to excuse it and play away. Like, remember, the Times is a British publication. This is a British paper writing this drivel over here. That, the Azov Battalion, they're not actually Nazis. That's just Russian propaganda. There are no Nazis in Ukraine. This is the Times. I mean, they're shameless. They should be absolutely ashamed. Not just as a paper, but a British paper. Absolutely shameful, really. Absolutely shameful. They're trying to play tricks on me. Like, do you see the difference? I want to show you the difference. The Times showed you one picture from that ceremony where you don't see any Nazi imagery. The difference is that I actually showed you all the pictures, and I showed you that there is Nazi imagery right there. There's a wolf's hook there, a Wolfsangel in one photo, and what looks like a death's head on the other guy's arm. So, do you see why no one trusts the mainstream media? Because they do shit like this. So just imagine, this is something trivial, honestly. I didn't need one, this is not one set of photographs off of which I'm basing that there are, Nazis in the Azov Battalion, or shall we say neo-Nazis in the Ukrainian armed forces. No, but my point is, if they're doing it with this, what else do you think they've lied to you about? What other things do you think they're lying to you about? Huh? And take a look at this. This is a letter that was written in 2019 by several people in Congress, and it was written to Mike Pompeo, who used to be Secretary of State under Trump. And they wrote this letter asking the State Department why they have not included the Azov Battalion. So these lovely guys that you're seeing right here, why they were not included in the foreign terror, the FTO list. So this is Foreign Terrorist Organization. Now, if you scroll down here, you can even see that, the Christchurch, New Zealand massacre was a turning point for counterterrorism efforts, they say. In his manifesto, the shooter claimed he had trained with the Azov Battalion in Ukraine, and he routinely wore a neo-Nazi symbol associated with them. So, look, I'm going to be very clear with you. I often criticize the FTO list because the Americans use it as a political tool, right? And as a tool to crush, anti-imperialist countries. So, for example, right now they put the guards, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran, the IRGC, which is a part of the Iranian armed forces, on the FTO, right? So Trump did that, and Biden's kept it, and they abuse this list, right? They abuse the terrorism list, use it against Syria, against Yemen, Iran, so on. So I'm the first one to criticize it, right? And this letter on its own does not mean everything, but I think it is significant that the United States government, people in Congress, know who the Azov Battalion are, which is just one piece of the puzzle, right? And still they fund these people and continue to celebrate them. Now, on the aspect of funding, I will admit that This went through several stages. At one point, they had a ban on funding them, and then it was lifted or something, and then it came back. So here from 2018, for example, this is from The Hill. It says Congress bans arms to Ukraine militia linked to neo-Nazis. Again, from March 2018. So well before, this current conflict. Although, again, that's kind of, a lot of people would tend to disagree because this has been going on since 2014. So, they said here that the spending bill that was passed in March of 2018 cut funding to neo-Nazi groups and militias in Ukraine, and among them, of course, the Azov Battalion. So, I think it's very important to put this into context because right now we're living in a world where the media and the governments in the West, they've kind of turned back on their old positions where up until January of 2022 it was fine to say, look, you have Nazis in Ukraine, this is a big problem, and NBC and the BBC and all these papers and outlets and stations went there and even did documentaries. We even looked at one together, right? There was one about NBC that NBC News did about these training camps that they had, these weird Nazi summer camps. And now you can't say that. That's Russian propaganda. Oh my God. Come on, man. Get it together. Seriously. But, just remember these symbols that you see, like the Death's Head, which is from the 3rd SS Panzer Division. And then, of course, you have the Wolfsangel, the Wolf's Hook, which is this one from the 2nd SS Panzer Division, Das Reich. You're seeing these a lot. And the Black Sun. And they're popping up all over the place. And it's like, not even Russian propaganda could do this, honestly. When I saw this post from Zelensky, this one over here that he had tweeted, or not tweeted rather, but just posted on Telegram, a picture of a soldier with an SS Death's Head on VE Day. I couldn't believe it. I swear to God, I couldn't believe it for like a day and a half. I was like, no, this just can't be real. This, it just can't be real. This has to be a Photoshop or something. And then I found the original post, and I was like, oh my God, it's real. Not even the Russians could come up with this. Seriously. Really. Can you imagine, like, in the propaganda room in Moscow, wherever that is, but I'm sure they have one, or many of them, they're probably, like, yelling out ideas to each other of what to do. I mean, if somebody said this, they would just say, shut the hell up, man, come on. Like Zelensky posting a picture of a guy with a Nazi symbol. No, everybody would know that's fake. So, like, even the Russians wouldn't try and pull such propaganda because of how ridiculous it is. And it's not propaganda, it's real. It's actually real. Like, just to give you an idea of how, the levels of absurdity that we've climaxed to. It's just, I mean, my goodness. My goodness, really. And the dishonesty of the times. I mean, really, just come on. They can't do a little tiny bit of digging to see this post on Telegram where they're flaunting the other symbols. I wonder what other symbols the guys are wearing, huh? These are just a few pictures. I bet you a lot more of them are draped in things like this and that. They're quite shameless about it, in many ways. In any case, just wanted to, give you a little bit of a laugh, I suppose, at how, no matter how hard they try, these photographs of people in Ukraine and the armed forces wearing Nazi insignia just keep on slipping through for some reason. It's almost as if it's an actual problem. And remember, the next time they tell you that, yeah, but these guys are just a minority, right? They probably are. I'm not saying that everybody in the Ukrainian armed forces is a Nazi. No. They are a minority, these guys here with the Nazi beliefs and tattoos and insignia. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't negate it. Like, even if it's one Nazi too much. And I would also add to you that, in Syria, people also said, well, ISIS is just a minority, right? Like, if you take all of the rebels that are trying to overthrow the Syrian government, only a tiny fraction of them are extremists, right? Or only a tiny fraction of them are actually support Al-Qaeda, are fighting with Al-Qaeda and ISIS and so on. And yeah, that's probably true, like, numerically. But it doesn't matter. You know why? Because on the battlefield and in how the war and the politics continue and advance, The ones that are succeeding and the most powerful and that are calling the shots are people like this. Are people like Al-Qaeda, are people like ISIS, are people like the Azov Battalion, because they usually have the most battle-hardened fighters. And look, man, you just threw billions of dollars of equipment at them. You've been training them for NATO interoperability for the last couple of years. Of course, these guys are feeling emboldened right now. They're feeling emboldened. But don't just dismiss it because, it's a few of them. It's one too many. It's one too many. It's kind of amusing that they're trying to do their PR. This obviously means, like, this headline and the fact that they changed the logo slightly, this shows you that they are feeling the pressure, and that they know that they are doing Nazi crap. They are wearing Nazi insignia, and people are finding out and starting to realize. And that's why they're trying to cover it up. And you see how the Western press is carrying water for them while leaving out the other photos, right? Leaving out the other symbols. How convenient. How convenient. They're literally arming Nazis and doing PR for Nazis. Like, what? I don't even know what to say. Words fail me.